Hello, I'm Deacon Jimmy Ghiglione.
And I'm Aaron Emig, and we're so happy and grateful to have some of our teachers for the Totus Tuus trainers, that are teaching our students and kids from the community here at our parish. And two down for me is Grant here. He's a seminarian in our Springfield diocese here in Illinois. And actually next week we'll be attending the North American College in Rome. So have fun with that. Yeah. And then right next to me is Alex, who attends SIUE and studies criminal justice. And Alex, did you know my mom is a cougar?
Really? Oh, well.
Yeah, she did go to SIU. But again, this week we're celebrating the 50th Sunday in Ordinary Time. And our question for the week is, are you open to the cultivation necessary to be good soil? So we're going to talk about that today, again, coming from Matthew chapter 13.
The simple meaning of this parable is that we need to be good soil. I think it's just right down to the point. Mm-hmm. Generally, good soil, though, it doesn't become good soil just because we want it to be good soil. It doesn't happen on its own. Good soil receives help from the farmer. The farmer cultivates it, fertilizes it, makes sure that it receives the nutrients and water if possible, and all those things that will help the seed to grow. The things that are good that really make the soil good soil. Mm-hmm. So let's think of God in this instance as the farmer, and we, all of us, we're the soil. The seed is His word, His teachings, His commandments. But God doesn't just sow the seed and then leave us, the soil, all alone, expecting us to nurture the seed ourselves. God nurtures us, He waters us, He feeds us. He gives us all kinds of help to be the very best soil that we can be.
Yeah, so basically, just to recap, and then I'll tell a quick story. The parable of the sower, here Jesus is talking about a sower who scatters seed liberally all over the field, and a lot of different things happen. So birds eat some of the seed, some seeds spring up right away, and then they die under the sun's scorching heat. Some seeds, they try and grow, but they're choked by thorns. And some seeds, they grow really well, and they produce rich fruit. So my quick story is that last summer, I was visiting some of my cousins who live in the Chicago suburb area, and just on a whim I decided to check out a Sunday service at a non-denominational church near their house called Harvest Bible Chapel. And
sorry about that.
It's this huge place. It's one of the biggest in the country, non-denominational church. So we go there, we go inside, it's this big old warehouse. I'm sure they bought it from some company. We go into this auditorium that they call their worship space, and for an entire hour, a live band just blasts contemporary Christian music. And it was so loud that I couldn't talk to, I was sitting next to my dad, and I couldn't talk to him at all. It was just making my ears ring. It was a great concert, and it really got my blood pumping, but it gave no spiritual insights or growth whatsoever, nothing that I'm used to. After an hour of the concert, I left and I went to Mass at St. Teresa's, which is the Catholic parish 10 minutes away nearby, where we normally go when we're visiting. And there it was just a completely different experience at Mass. Everything about St. Teresa's and the Mass was the complete opposite. It was slow, it was reverent, just totally different from Harvest Bible Chapel. At St. Teresa's, their sanctuary has Stations of the Cross all on the walls. It has an area with candles and a statue of Mary, and like most churches, it has a large crucifix at the front. And I especially noticed that day, compared to Harvest Bible Chapel, how deliberately paced and how reverent the Mass was. And the readings poured out the scriptures to me. The homily gave insights. And, at Harvest Bible Chapel, they didn't even have readings. It was just a concert. And then the Eucharist came, and it brought Christ in the deepest way possible. It was more than just a concert. I got His body and blood. So how that relates to the parable, my experience at Harvest Bible Chapel made me feel like a seed that would spring up and then quickly die under the sun, because all I had was that emotional, exciting experience, but nothing that was real nourishment or long-lasting nutrition. But my experience at the Mass at St. Teresa's made me feel like a seed that could bear rich fruit like Jesus wants in the parable, because I was being watered and cared for in the right way by the scriptures, by the readings, and by the Eucharist, especially Jesus' body and blood.
That's great.
Yeah, that's great. And, you know, what I say, you know, is what type of sower are you? Are you the ones like that non-denominational church that just get you pumped up and fired up for a little bit and then you're back to even worse than you started even? So trust me, in my life, I've been 1, 2, and 3 a lot. But we're always striving to be that number 4 that produces that rich fruit for us all.
You know, if God calls us to be good soil, and He does, then we have to accept His caring for the soil in whatever form that may be. We have to accept His justice and His forgiveness. We have to accept His correction and His compassion.
Yeah.
We have to accept God's laws and also accept God's love. It's the whole package together in the way that He chooses to care for us.
Yeah.
Our loving Lord will cultivate us, and He'll enable us to bring His loving presence and to be His loving presence in the world. We can be that good soil because God, He asks us to be, and He enables us to be that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true. You know, I think it's easy to worship God and be thankful to Him, you know, when things are going really well for us in life and problems, you know, are kind of disappearing and we're on the up and up. And we should be thankful during that time, but, you know, it's not always like that. We need to stay focused, you know, and have faith even when things aren't going very well for us. Like a lot of people, you know, and you have to pray when it rains as well as when it shines, I guess.
That's
That's an
great.
important thing to do. And, you know, I guess being a disciple of Jesus is not simply a matter of feeling like a Harvest Bible Chapel made you feel. You know, emotions fade, but Jesus Christ never does. And,
That's great.
and I guess so we must not either, you know, if we're going to follow Him. So, you know, it's important to ask God for the strength to persevere on a daily basis, not just once or, you know, twice or a couple times in life.
Deacon Jimmy, I think we're going to have to Skype these guys in for the week.
Yeah.
You know? The law of karma is also called the law of cause and effect, action and reaction, and as you sow, so shall you reap. This is Shaham Hinduja.
Okay.
Close enough. Our transformation tool again is the quick introduction to the Bible CD by the great Matthew Kelly. You know, I asked this question, have you really learned how to read the Bible? Were you taught that? I never was in my 12 years of Catholic education, or at least they taught me. I didn't retain it. So, but he gives you just a simple game plan on how to read the Bible and get, you know, your fruits out of what you read every day. Again, we're giving out those free copies over at Morris Hall every Tuesday at 2:10 p.m. And we always end with a prayer. Jesus, how do you want me to transform my life today?
Well, I'd like to thank Alex and Grant for being with us, and just say on behalf of all of us, God bless you all from Saints Peter and Paul Catholic Church, a spiritual home for everyone, where we are always striving to be, grow, and make disciples.
Thank you guys.